guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that I would do a quarter one book haul. So these are all of the books that I got in the months of January, February, and March. And there are quite a few, but I used some gift cards that I got for Christmas and some I got for my birthday with a gift card. So it looks a little bit worse than it actually was on my wallet. So I've broken it down into places that I've purchased the books, so let's get right into it. Okay, so the first stack of books I'm going to talk about are books that I got at my local bookstore. We only have one. I live in a fairly small town, and I used a gift card to purchase these books that I was given as a gift. So the first one I got is My Life in France by Julia Child, and I picked this up because I am wanting to read a little bit more nonfiction, but not the self-help genre of nonfiction, more like memoirs and things like that. So I picked this up because I have a culinary background and I love Julia Child and her uniqueness, and so I'm really excited to read about her time in France. And the next book I picked up at our local bookstore is The Arcanum Unbounded. Yeah, Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson, and this is like a bind up of lots of short stories that happen in the Cosmere, his world that he's created. And so I picked this up because I'm currently reading through his Stormlight archive, and I know that there were several stories in here that you're supposed to read in between volumes of that and that add to the story, and so I picked this up so I would be able to do so. The next book I picked up is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, and this was a purchase that I decided to do because of my friend Tiffany. She has influenced me to read a lot more classics, and I'm pretty sure Dostoevsky is one of her favorites, and so I've never read anything by him, so I picked this one up to give him a try. So the next stack of books I'm going to talk about are from Amazon. There's actually two stacks from Amazon. One I got at the beginning of the quarter with some gift cards that I was given for Christmas, and then the second stack I got towards the end of the quarter with a gift card that I got for my birthday. The first book is Son of the Deep, and this was also influenced by Tiffany. Her channel is Beautiful Minutia, and I'm going to link her below because you should definitely check her out if you haven't. She's wonderful in person too. She's wonderful in real life as well. But this, she told me, would be a great book for Savannah Grace. It's a fairy tale retelling, and it's based on The Little Mermaid, but it's a merman and he falls in love with a human girl. So she hasn't read this yet, but it's high on her list. She's got a long list, but it's high on her list, so I'm excited to see what she thinks about this. The next book I picked up is Muses from the Moon, and this is from Owl's Nest Publishers, the same publishers that published Son of the Deep. And again, Tiffany recommended this. It's a volume of poetry that she thought it's like a YA volume of poetry that she thought Savannah Grace might read, and Savannah Grace has already read this and she really, really enjoyed it. So the poems are fairly short, and it's all about the phases of the moon and how, it's not about the phases of the moon, but it's based on that. And I believe it's this poet's journey through depression and out of depression. So this was an enjoyable read for Savannah Grace, and I'm excited to get to it as well. The next book I ordered from Amazon was Pat of Silver Bush by Ellen Montgomery, and I ordered this specifically because I read The Blue Castle for the first time this year. It was the first book I read this year, and it was one of my favorites so far of the year. I loved that, and I wanted to read more of Ellen Montgomery's stories that were not based on Anne, and so I picked this book up. This just sounds really magical. So this is about a young girl named Pat who lives in Silver Bush, and she loves her life, but she doesn't want it to change, but lots of changes are coming to her, I guess. I don't know, but I'm excited to dive into this book as well. And the final book I picked up with that first Amazon gift card is Grandma Gatewood's Walk, the inspiring story of the woman who saved the Appalachian Trail. And this is a nonfiction book because, like I said, I've been wanting to get into more books like these, and I've already started this one. I'm just a few chapters in, four chapters in, but already it's so good. It's about this older lady who decides that she wants to walk the Appalachian Trail, and she doesn't even tell her kids or anything that she's going, and it weaves her past into her current story of walking the trail, and it's just so fascinating, and just, I don't know, I'm really enjoying it so far. I really love nonfiction books that are set in nature or about nature or the outdoors, like Bill Bryson's A Walk in the Woods, about his journey on the Appalachian Trail. I really enjoyed that book. So I knew that I was going to love this book before I even picked it up, but now that I've started it, it's great. So yeah, so that was the first gift card that I used from Amazon. And now the second gift card that I used from Amazon, that was for my birthday in March. I purchased all middle grade books with that one, and they're all Newbery Award winners. So the first one is It's Like This Cat, and honestly, I don't know anything about any of these next few books other than that they're Newbery Medal winners, and that was specifically the reason that I got them, because I had started a list of all the Newbery winners, and I realized that I have read quite a few of them, so I thought, well, why not read them all? So there's that. I guess I'm doing that. But this is one I picked up. It's Like This Cat. It looks older, but it looks great. I don't know. I know nothing about it. The next one I picked up is Waterless Mountain. And again, know nothing about this one other than it's a Newbery Award winner. It says it's a coming-of-age story rooted in the traditional culture of the Navajo, so that sounds interesting. So the last book I picked up, which is also a Newbery Award winner, is The Dark Frigate, and this is kind of like a pirate story, I think. Not necessarily a pirate story, but just a story on the ocean, which I enjoy nautical stories as well, so I think that this one will be a great read for me as well. So the next pile is a pile that I purchased when my son had his national basketball tournament in Gatlinburg, which is just a few hours from us, and they have a great bookstore. It's like a bookstore and a moon pie store combined, and that sounds really odd, but it's a staple down there, and we go in this store every time we visit Gatlinburg, and this obviously was no exception. So I went actually twice during the time I went there, once with my kids and then once with another basketball mama, and I picked up quite a few books. So the first book I picked up was Coal Miner's Daughter, and this is the story of Loretta Lynn, and she is from my home state of Kentucky, and I've never read this, and I felt like, being a Kentucky girl, I needed to read this. So I saw it on the shelf and I was like, I gotta read it, I guess. So I picked this one up. The next one I picked up is The Song of the Jade Lily, and I don't know, the cover just kind of caught my eye, and it is about World War II, and I've kind of complained to some of my friends that I need to read more historical fiction that is not World War II related, because it seems like those are the only historical fiction that I pick up, and I'm kind of tired of that time period. But I picked this one up, but I don't know, it's World War II, however, it takes place in Shanghai and London. There's a dual timeline, and so, I don't know, it just sounded like a different kind of twist on the World War II historical fiction books that I have read in the past. So I thought, well, we'll try this one out. The next one I picked up is The Seesaw Girl, and this is by Linda Sue Park, and I have read so many of Linda Sue Park's books, and I love all of them. A Single Shard is phenomenal, and so I knew that she was an author that I could trust. And this is about a young girl in 17th century Korea, and I guess she can't go out of her inner court and live her life. She can only stay in the walls of her home, and so she's just curious about what is outside those walls. So this sounded really intriguing to me. The next book I picked up is Going Solo by Roald Dahl, and this I picked up because I had just finished on that trip Boy by Roald Dahl, and so this takes place after Boy. And so Boy ends when he graduates high school and goes off to, I believe, the military and to travel and to work. And so this is what that is about in Roald Dahl's life. So that's why I picked this one up. Okay, the next book I picked up is The Buried Giant by Ishiguro. And I have heard such great things about this author, but I've never read any of his works. And I saw this on the shelf and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to give this one a try, because this bookstore that I purchased these at, they have a section of normally priced books, but then they have a basement, and the basement is where you find all of the goodies, all of the really discounted books. And so I went to the basement and found majority of these books in the basement. But anyway, this book is set in post-Arthurian Britain, and Axel and Beatrice are a British couple who set off to visit their son who they haven't seen in years. I guess a mist has caused amnesia throughout the land and they can't remember him. So I guess it's about their journey of, remembering their son. I don't know, but it sounded interesting, so I picked it up. This is another book by Linda Sue Park, When My Name Was Kyoko, and this one is about a young girl who lives in Korea, but the Japanese have taken over, I guess, and so she is kind of having an identity crisis, maybe, about she's Korean, not Japanese, and what that looks now that everyone is fighting for the Japanese and stuff like that. So that was another one. Okay, the next book I know nothing about. It's called Graceling. The cover is what drew me in, and it's a series. I picked it up because it's a young adult book, and I thought that it's a young adult fantasy, I believe, but I thought it might be a good one for my daughter to try. I'll have to pre-read it because I've heard nothing about it, but I don't know. It just looked intriguing just from the cover alone. Is why I picked it up. So we'll see what I think of that one. The next book I picked up is another Dostoevsky. It's 2 in 1, The Double and The Gambler. I guess there are 2 of his short stories. The Double is someone has this guy's name and face. It's like a nightmare, I guess. He has and he takes over this guy's life because he has his name and his face. And then The Gambler is about a young man who is addicted to gambling and how that affects his life. And then the last book I picked up from the Moon Pie store is Aquanaut, A Life Beneath the Surface. This is the inside story of the Thai cave rescue, and this was a book I picked up because I've read another book, a middle grade book about this same Thai cave rescue, and it was fascinating to me. I enjoyed it so much, and so I thought, okay, well, let's get another perspective. I guess this is the perspective of one of the divers who dove into the cave to rescue the boys. And so I thought that would be a good book to read since I've already read another perspective of the same story. Okay, the last stack of books is from Book Outlet. I don't know if you've ever shopped at Book Outlet, but I love it. They've got great deals on books. The shipping is kind of slow, but I'm used to Amazon speed shipping, so it's fine. You just have to be patient. But I had a credit for Book Outlet, so I was able to order a few books from them as well. So the first one I ordered is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and this is a classic. It's so tiny. I didn't realize it would be so tiny when I ordered it, but it's adorable. But this is just a classic, and it's, rural England. I feel like I've heard good things about this one, so I'm excited to get to it. The next book I picked up was The Murder at the Vicarage by Agatha Christie. This is the first in the Miss Marple series, and I have never read any of the Miss Marple series, so I wanted to give that series a try and see what I thought about it. So I picked up the first book in the series. So this book is about a man that everybody hates. They wish he was dead, and guess what? He ends up dead in the vicar's office. So it sounds intriguing. We'll see how I feel about Miss Marple versus Poirot, and we'll see which one I like better, I guess. The next book I picked up is All Creatures, Great and Small. I have checked this out from the library many times, and I've always returned it without reading it, and so I saw this and I on a whim purchased it because I know this is a book I'm going to enjoy. It's about James Herriot and his days as a veterinarian in England. And I don't know, like I said earlier, I love nonfiction books that take place outside or deal with nature or something like that. And I feel like this is just going to be right up my alley. So I'm excited to get into this one. And the last book I picked up from Book Outlet is An Everlasting Meal, Cooking with Economy and Grace. And as you can tell, my nonfiction tends to run either outdoors or culinary. And I saw this and I thought I would really enjoy it. It's about, the author talks about cooking and eating and feeding ourselves well. So I believe there are a few, like, not necessarily recipes, but techniques woven into the book. But the foreword is by Alice Waters, and I really enjoy Alice Waters and her philosophy on food and sustainability and all of that sort of thing. So I picked this one up to give it a try. Okay, so there are all of the books that I purchased in the first quarter of the year. There are over 20 books here, but if I paid full price for a book, it was with a gift card. I did not spend as much as it looks like I did on these books. I'm sure my quarter two haul will be much smaller because I've used up all of my gift cards, but that's okay. It's fine. Holidays are coming again around soon sometime. And anyway, so those are the books that I purchased. I've already started a few of them. I am excited to get to a lot of them, and I hope you enjoyed this fairly large book haul. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.